All right, we about to react to some of this Penny Hardaway post game interview after the loss at UAB, and man, just look at his face, man. He's just done with it. Well, let's get to it.
It's at a 10 because we know why we're having the problems. We're talking about it. We're watching film. We're getting it handled in practice, and then when the game starts, the effort and the energy just isn't there.
So what does that mean? Y'all know what the problem is. Y'all go over it in practice, but as soon as the game start, nobody's making in-game adjustments. Is this coaching or is it on the players? Cause it sounds like to me he's losing his team as a coach, as a leader, and that's concerning. But let's keep going.
You said you had started from scratch this week in practice, kind of going back to square one.
Mm-hmm.
What response did you get from your guys? Like, did you see any of this coming, the way this unraveled today?
Obviously not, because I knew that UAB was good, especially at home. They got athletes that play strong, play tough. Knew they were going to be in a 1-3-1 the entire game. That they really weren't going to play man. They're going to switch up defenses, and was well prepared. You know, it's just all it took was for our guys to come out and just match that energy. You can't. First of all, you're a ranked team. Secondly, you're Memphis versus UAB. And those guys on that other side, they look way hungrier than us in the beginning. And that just can't happen. That just isn't a team that I've coached. I've always been able to reach, to be able to just fight. I just haven't been able to say the right words to this team yet, just to fight.
See, now that's very telling what he just said. He literally just answered my question. He just said that in past years he's gotten to the fire of his team, but this team doesn't really have much fight like his past teams, and that's concerning because these are transfers. These are supposed to be super seniors and seniors, and they're not having fight, and we got to get to the bottom of it before March, because that's really concerning what he just said.
I don't think I've exhausted all my options because I'm not a loser. I've been down before, but it's going to take for these guys in the locker room to change who they are if we're going to do anything. Just a bunch of blank faces in there. Again, we're not fooling anybody. We did a phenomenal job winning 10 games in a row. Our talent overtook the teams that we played, and I think we were more hungry than those other teams. Since conference has started, we've struggled mightily.
It sounds like they need me in that locker room. Because how do you lose your third straight game to non-ranked teams and nobody stands up and says anything? Just blank faces. That shows that there's no leadership on this team. There's no leaders. Everybody's just looking at each other, just not holding each other accountable. Probably putting all the blame on Penny and the coaches, but at the same time, Penny's not in the game playing. Penny's not Penny's not executing the game plan. You guys are, so you guys got to hold each other accountable.
And we won the first 4, but we lost the last 4, the last 3. It's just the locker room with blank faces. Nobody spoke up and said, hey, coach, we got you. So we got practice tomorrow and got another game on Wednesday. This isn't the end of the world.
See, I'm not trying to rant, but that's a concern. That's a big concern right there, man. Because how does nobody say anything after having a whole week of practice, after losing 2 games last week? You have a whole week of practice and nobody says nothing? Just blank faces? Nah, man, that's... And then Penny's like, it's not the end of the world, bro. That's a concern.
You just gotta show more. You gotta show more. We're not showing enough grit, enough toughness, and that's really, really hard for me to watch.
It's not just hard for you. It's hard for the fans. It's hard for us. How do we go from beating Arkansas, Texas A&M, Clemson, Virginia, all these teams, to losing to South Florida, Tulane, UAB? Come on, it's not adding up. And I think what the solution is, the players need to have a only players meeting And you got to figure out what's going on in that locker room, because we're not playing as a team. We playing like a team that don't really, like each other. You know what I'm saying? We got ball hoggers on the team. They got to get that together.
You think there, in hindsight, you think there was maybe on their part too much emphasis placed on the non-conference and not enough? Did they get so high that now getting in the conference they sort of lost something that they had that was unsustainable or
I put a ton of emphasis on non-conference because I knew that's what we needed to get to where we needed to get to. But I did not downplay the conference at all because I know how tough this conference is. Maybe they did, but I never did. I know how tough because if you remember me saying before conference started, now it's more pressure to win because they're not respecting our conference enough. And we knew that coming in. So I've given the warning signs. They've seen enough to know. It just has. We got to stop making the excuses, man. I have to coach better. They have to play harder.
I was listening to the radio this morning, and somebody said they feel like they haven't recovered from the South Florida loss. That was the first loss that Memphis had when they were up 20, and they blew a 20-point lead, and South Florida came back and beat them. And I kind of believe that's true. We haven't been the same team since. Really since Caleb Mills been hurt, but since that game we've been trash. We've been garbage. So, I know Penny said he put emphasis on the non-conference, but we gotta get it together.
How tough is it when your two biggest bucket getters, arguably David Jones, Javon clearly, the turnovers starting to pile up for them, this game? How do you kind of reel them in, and what can you do in those situations?
These are veteran guys that have been through the wars. They have to do better. They know they have to do better, and they are. It's just, I can't put my finger on it, to be honest, because in big games you just have to show up, and not just offensively but all around. And you need your guys on the road to show up, and we just didn't get it done today. I'm not going to go into. Those two guys have won us plenty of games this year. But it's like you said, have a game like this today with the turnovers was tough in this environment.
Man, David Jones had 9 turnovers. 9 turnovers. Like, I don't even know how that's possible to have 9 turnovers, bro. And if I'm Penny, I would have... Boy, if I was coach, man, I would have just took him out, man. I don't know why you gotta do stuff like that.
Penny, did you expect UAB before the season to be competitive like this in the conference, knowing their roster, knowing some of their players?
Honestly, I never take anything for granted because our league it's about toughness. And I saw the bodies that they went out and got, and to go along with what they had coming back. And it's about toughness. And when you're tough, you can win. Especially at home. On the road, they gave up a 20-plus point lead at Charlotte. Charlotte was good at home. Today, they were good at home. So, SMU goes to Wichita, who hadn't won a game, and Wichita won today. It's just how the league is. They're just not getting the respect around the country that we know. But it wasn't that I didn't expect UAB to be poor. I mean, not to be good. It's just I expect everybody to be good because I know when they play us, it's going to be a different level game anyway. But I did see that they got tough guys that were going to get the job done.
two more?
I think everyone needs to wake up and realize that this conference is different from past years, man. If you look at the conference, all of the new members are at the top right now. And all of the previous members are, middle or bottom. So we got to put respect on AAC.
When y'all lost to USF a couple games ago, you attributed to kind of the locker room chemistry, guys not being on the same page. Has that improved at all, and is that still what's plaguing this team? Like, just guys not seeing eye to eye?
It's not. You got to understand, it's 14 new guys. We just added Jordan Brown back. Naquan Tomlin is still really fairly new to go along with David Jones and Quinterly and those guys that haven't played together. You're supposed to start getting better like right now. We got off to an unbelievable start, and I think that put everything way up here in the expectations, and the guys just once that happened, maybe they just got too complacent, and that's not. I'm not taking anything away from the teams that are beating us because I feel like those teams did a phenomenal job. But we have to figure out a way to get these guys locked in together. I would say it's still too much individual and not team in the locker room.
And that's powerful what he just said. He said too much individual and not enough team in the locker room. So does that fall back on coaching? Is Penny doing something that's not hitting the team? Are they not running enough plays? Are they, you know what I'm saying? That's a concern, especially in February. Well, yeah, February is approaching, but that's a concern, man. We got a month to get things together.
Based on that, it sounds like you feel like not everybody's pulling the rope in the same direction. Is that fair?
No, I don't think everyone's pulling the rope in the same direction. I think that guys are feeling like they could do it individually by themselves because they've done it where they've been, and obviously we see that's not true.
Do you feel like normally when you get into points in the season where you're struggling, you may try to switch some things up. You may try to up a new start line or something like that. But I get the feeling that you still feel like you're putting the team in the best possible position to succeed. And so, is that fair to say?
It's fair to say for now, but I promise you, man, it's just I have so much love for this game that if it doesn't change, you're gonna have to. It's almost to the point where you might have to change one or two guys. I mean, it's just for the love of just the game and playing hard, and for your fans and for yourself and for your coaches and your teammates, and not just going through the motions. We got to get a group of guys, whoever it is, to go out there and understand that we have to defend and rebound. We can score with anyone.
Seems like he's gonna continue to go with the same lineup he's been going with, and we got Rice up next, so it should be a cakewalk. But with this team, it's hard to tell. So hopefully they show up, and man, we can get back in the winning column because we've been in disarray. It's all around the end, man. I'm out.